who needs to hear this, but you are not emotionally attached to that creator or celebrity. Your nervous system is borrowing safety from their voice. That's why this feels deeper than you expected, okay? Before we get into this, I need you to know that this is a grounded conversation, not dramatic and not accusatory. We're going to talk about emotional attachment and boundaries in a way that is real but kind. Because a lot of people carry connection in their bodies and not just their thoughts. If you connect deeply online, if you feel seen by voices on a screen, or if you are a creator or celebrity who feels the emotional pull of people's expectations, this video is for you. This isn't about shame. It's about understanding what's actually happening so everyone stays safe. And I know you all have seen things on the news about people that even break into celebrities' houses and fall in love with these celebrities, go to their shows, every show they have. There was one creator, she's not even a celebrity. She was having something, and one man bought all of the tickets to her event. So she canceled. Before we get into that, this video is partially sponsored by Dr. Audrey's Sweet Treats. Can you all see that? I don't know if you can see that. So one of my best friends makes pecan and vanilla candies, right? I don't have all of them unwrapped. I don't know if you can see it because all of these aren't mine. And I had way more. I don't know what happened. Okay, I do know what happened, but it's like you eat one and then you have to go back and eat another. Then you have to have one for breakfast. Listen, y'all, if you want to get your orders in, I'm going to leave her information in the description. Okay, I'm trying to make sure you all can see. In the description, I'm going to leave it there so you can place your orders. I know a lot of people do these resets and things like that for the new year. So if it's too late and you need to wait until February for Valentine's Day, that'll work too, boo. But it reminds me of, I have a grandma who had like these bougie desserts, or I consider them bougie desserts during Christmas or holidays, period. This is what this reminds me of. So if you like pecan candies, I heard you all really love these in Louisiana. Make sure you get your orders in, okay? Thank you. Now, I have my notes. Let's get into this thing. I may also lightly mention something that's in the news right now on TikTok. I want to remain respectful because it's not a good situation at all, right? So we're going to start off talking about the quiet attachment no one names. So there's a type of attachment that doesn't look unhealthy. It doesn't look dramatic, and it doesn't look obsessive. It feels comforting, familiar, safe. It looks like feeling emotionally close to someone you've only seen on a screen, your phone screen, your television screen, or your iPad screen, even your computer. Like noticing you miss their presence when they don't post or go live like they normally do. Like feeling your body physically settle when you hear their voice, your shoulders drop, your breathing slows, your mind quiets, like internally or externally, defending them when people start to critique them. Even if you don't fully agree, some of you will go to war online over people that don't even know your name. Even choosing their content over a real conversation when you're tired, when you don't have the energy to explain yourself, when you just want something that feels easy. None of this feels dangerous. It feels regulating. Let me say this clearly. You're not obsessed. You're emotionally undernourished. Most people are in parasocial relationships without realizing it, especially women who are always the strong one, the capable one, and the one who holds it together for everybody else. Women who are rarely the supported one. For high capacity women, this can quietly become the only place where it seems like somebody actually sees you. They understand you, even if they've never met you, and even if they don't know your name. That doesn't make you weak. It just tells me that your system learned to receive where it felt safest. Now, the question isn't whether this attachment makes sense. The question is, what kind of attachment is your body actually forming? Let's name what we are actually talking about plainly. Okay? A parasocial relationship is a one-sided bond where a person feels intimacy, friendship, or loyalty towards someone who does not personally know them. This can happen with celebrities, influencers, creators, pastors, other people in ministry, even fictional characters, on-screen personas, any space where you regularly see someone, hear their voice, learn their inner world without them knowing yours, has the potential to become parasocial. Here's the part most people don't realize. Your nervous system registers this as closeness. Your body relaxes, your breathing may slow down, your heart rate may drop, you feel seen, understood, but there is no mutual awareness. There's no shared responsibility. So it feels like a connection, but it isn't relationship. Relationship requires reciprocity. This doesn't make you broken. This makes you human, living in a digital world that offers access without intimacy. This is why you see some influencers, even celebrities with a lot of influence, that a lot of influencers will say things like, "You all think you're old, access to this portion of my life. How are you mad because I'm not sharing X, Y, and Z? You see what I want you to see. If I want you to see it, I'll put it online." Some people get legit mad when they can't access every area of a person's life. Baby, we don't know you. We were never designed to have constant emotional proximity to people who can't hold us back. So if your body responds like it's in relationship, even though your mind knows it isn't, this isn't failure. This is biology meeting technology. The question isn't whether this bond is real to your body. The question is, what is your nervous system learning from it? And what might it be trying to replace without you noticing? Now, let's talk about why this connection feels so real in your body. Because if you have ever wondered, why does this feel like a connection when I know it really isn't? I'm about to tell you why. Your nervous system doesn't clearly distinguish between perceived presence and physical presence when visual and auditory cues are consistent. When you regularly see someone's face, hear their voice, recognize their tone, cadence, expressions, your body starts to treat that as familiarity. Tone becomes a safety cue. Facial expressions become a safety cue. Predictability becomes a safety cue. Your system learns when this voice shows up, I feel calmer. Over time, repetition begins to build attachment and your body begins predicting comfort. Not because the person is physically with you, but because your nervous system has learned a pattern. So, hear me when I say this. Your body isn't just attached to the person, it's attached to how your body feels when they speak. This is especially true for women who learn to self regulate early, women who became observers instead of needers, women who learned that needing too much, asking too often, and depending on someone emotionally wasn't safe. You attach where it feels safe to receive without asking, without risking rejection. Parasocial bonds often form where real attachment felt unsafe, unpredictable, or humiliating. So, of course, your body wants to lean towards the steady voice online. Of course, it prefers the predictable presence on the screen instead of the inconsistent presence in real life. Your nervous system isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. The issue isn't that your body learned this. The issue is what happens when this becomes the only place that your body feels safe. And let's be real, we don't have to be dramatic to be honest. Most parasocial bonds stay mild. They live in the comfort category. They look like inspiration, familiarity, a sense of ease. And for many people, that's where it ends. But for some, these quiet bonds replace real connection. They become the primary place where emotional regulation happens, not intentionally, not consciously, just gradually, and in a small number of cases, parasocial attachments escalates. It can turn into entitlement, obsession, or harm. There are documented cases where parasocial attachments crossed into pathology, like John Hinckley Jr.'s fixation on actress Jodie Foster decades ago. Now, that's not most people, but it reminds us that this is not imaginary internet behavior. It's emotional wiring. When we don't understand a bond, we can't steward it well. And when we can't steward it well, it can quietly take up more space than it's supposed to. Now, this isn't about fear. This is about awareness, because awareness gives you a choice. And once we understand that these bonds can live on a spectrum, we can start talking about where boundaries actually matter for everyone involved. There's another side to this conversation that matters. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. Parasocial relationships don't only affect the person who is attached, they also affect the one being attached to. Let me give you some examples. Stalking and offline following. I have recently blocked someone because I said they give you gonna show up at my door vibes. Like, I've heard situations regarding people saying, "Oh, I saw you at the gas station," and da 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 da, but they were actually followed. I'm not even gonna go into details because some of this gets really bad. So stalking and following your favorite creator or celebrity offline. Okay. Home break-ins and uninvited visits. Again, we've seen this in the news. I cannot remember the celebrity's name that came home and a fan was like in his bathtub or bed or something, like didn't try to hurt him or anything. Listen, Lord. Then there's boundary violations at events or in DMs. Listen, I told you all about the creator. She does have a lot of followers online who had an event and then they found out, thank God they found out in time that one man bought up all the tickets. So they ended up canceling. But things like that, or just when you set boundaries and people think because they're whatever, well, I bought your product or I sold into you or I did this or that, then I don't care about the boundaries that are set. I don't care about the rules that are at this event or that you have. I should be able to, and they'll even come in your DMs like that. Yes, they will. Ask me how I know. Okay, even the belief that access is old because of emotional investment. I talked earlier, I mentioned earlier about I've heard so many influencers say, you all act like you deserve access to my life. You are getting mad because I didn't show you X, Y, and Z. I refuse to share whatever with you. Y'all are legit getting mad. This is social media. You see what I want you to see. There are some people who feel like because I'm a content creator, because you're a content creator, and don't be a celebrity. Oh, goodness. Paparazzi, but they believe that they deserve access. How does that work? There have also been multiple documented cases where public figures experienced stalking and safety violations because someone believed a private relationship existed when it did not. And I'm not talking about the celebrities or the pastors that are leading men and women on. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legit, baby, I don't even know who you are. They have this whole relationship in their head. Some of these people have social media accounts and they're using AI to put pictures of themselves and the celebrities or whoever. Listen, when fantasy is mistaken for relationship, boundaries stop feeling real. The word of the day is boundaries. When boundaries stop feeling real, safety gets compromised on both ends. So if you are a celebrity or just a content creator, you better learn how to travel with security. It just is what it is. Some type of security, some form of security, whether it be a person, a piece, both. You better learn how to travel with security because stuff like this gets real. And for those of you, you may be a creator watching me and you think, oh, I only have 1,000 subscribers. Baby, you don't know who these people are. There could be people online pretending to be children. This is why I stopped posting my family and my nieces and my nephews because I know some of the messages that I've received. And baby, when you start messing with, especially my nieces and nephews, it's gonna be a problem. This is why I don't even post them anymore. I don't post them. You can have people online pretending to be, you do have people online pretending to be children, and they are grown adults. I almost said something else. You all better be careful. And creator, influencer, do not think because I only have 1,000 followers. Don't nobody know me yet. When I get in the 100,000 range, when I hit 500K, when I hit a million, let me tell you something. I started getting recognized publicly when I had about 2,000 on TikTok. 2,000, only 2,000 on TikTok and on YouTube. I was still in the 1,000s because my TikTok has always been I've always had more followers on TikTok on my first TikTok page than on my YouTube page. So yeah, publicly recognized by people I did not know. So please don't think you have to have all of the okay. I think y'all get the picture. I don't even know where I am in my notes. It's okay. Because I didn't have any of that written down, girl. Hold on. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily mean people who struggle with this type of attachment are evil and dangerous. I just want to put that out there. However, there are people that will go to great lengths. And I just believe there are a lot of people who are mentally unstable and they're unwell. Just be careful. Okay. When there's some type of emotional hunger and you combine that with constant access and visibility, Things can become volatile if this is never named. Remember, a healthy connection always includes consent, awareness, and boundaries. I want to acknowledge something that is happening online right now. A young woman committed the S word. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube, so I'm just going to say the S word. She committed the S word on TikTok Live after prolonged online harassment, manipulation. From some of the clips, it sounds like extortion online. This situation is now under federal investigation. Yeah, I'm not here to dissect her pain. I'm not here to replay the details. And I'm not here to make content off her story. I'm not even going to call her name. I just want to name a system that failed her. What we're seeing at the center of situations like this is not one single issue. It's an intersection. Parasocial attachment, power imbalance, public humiliation, exploitation disguised as content, and a lack of accountability from people who held influence. When emotional vulnerability meets social power, and when attention is given without responsibility, the consequences can be devastating. Parasocial relationships becomes dangerous when there is power without accountability and attention without responsibility. This isn't about placing blame on one person. This is about understanding the dynamics, because when you understand the dynamics, you can interrupt them. We don't honor her by gossiping. We don't honor her by speculating. We honor her by learning and bringing awareness. A part of that learning and bringing awareness is being willing to honestly talk about mental health, power, and parasocial attachment interactions, especially online. Now, I want to talk about the mental health layer here carefully. This is where a lot of conversations go wrong. Mental health vulnerability does not make a person weak. It does make rejection, abandonment, and humiliation land deeper. When someone is already emotionally exposed, public humiliation doesn't just hurt their feelings, it affects their nervous system. It impacts identity and it impacts a person's sense of safety in the world. Humiliation plus isolation is a dangerous combination. This isn't about blaming one person again, and it's not about me trying to diagnose someone. But at some point, when she was interviewed by one of the influencers, she was in the mental facility. Creators have a responsibility in how they use influence. Communities have responsibility in how they participate. Platforms have responsibility in what they allow and what they amplify. Listen, I used to get banned, posts taken down all the time. For what? But then we're seeing way too much of things like this that's happening online, the bullying, taking themselves out. She's not the first person that did this on live. How in the world is that possible? How are all these clips popping up now with these people telling her to unalive herself and all of this crazy stuff? How are their accounts were never banned? Make it make sense. I saw a creator call it fake censorship. This fake censorship where they're telling us we can't use certain words, fake censorship. But then things like this are happening. No, TikTok needs to be held responsible as well. I said what I said. And then there's a consumer, all of us. You're watching me on social media right now. You're a consumer. We have a responsibility in how we engage, comment, and consume. It's crazy to me that the messiest, chaotic videos get the most views. We're pushing it. When harm is happening in public spaces, silence, laughter, and engagement are not neutral. They become part of the environment. Something can feel virtual and still cause real harm to a nervous system, to a reputation, and to a life. This doesn't mean the internet is evil, because I know how some of y'all do. This doesn't mean the internet is evil, and it doesn't mean that online connection is wrong. It means we have to stop pretending that emotional impact ends at the screen. And once we understand that mental health, attachment, and public exposure interact, we can start recognizing when a bond is crossing the line before it becomes something harmful. Let's talk about signs, not red flags, not accusations, just signals, because your nervous system communicates long before your mind does. One sign is dysregulation when they disappear, when they don't post, when they don't go live, when they take a break for the sake of their mental health. You feel unsettled, not annoyed, but just off, like you can't get it together. Your body feels restless, your mood shifts, and it feels like something is missing. Another sign is when content quietly replaces real connection. You reach for their voice instead of calling a friend. You watch instead of speaking. You consume instead of being known. Not because you don't value real people, but because this feels easier. Another signal: intense loyalty without mutual relationship. You feel protective of them. Baby, you defend them instinctively. You're not gonna talk about so and so that you will go to bat. You will no war. You'll go literally to war for them. These people don't know you. You don't know them for real. You know what you see online. You feel a sense of closeness even though there is no shared history, no mutual care, or accountability. And another sign: emotional fullness followed by emptiness. You feel comforted while watching them, calm, settled. But baby, when that video ends, you feel hollow, like something dropped out of your body. And sometimes the clearest sign is avoiding your own inner world. You stay with their thoughts so you don't have to sit with your own. You listen to their clarity so you don't have to hear your own. Your system is asking you for something real. It's begging you pretty much at this point. Your attachment makes sense, but now it deserves real nourishment. Y'all, these onions in this oven, I'm in here sniffing, my eyes burning. Onions, too many onions. Let me focus. When your nervous system gets what it's actually asking for, you don't have to borrow safety from a screen. This is why I teach people. Even back then, I would tell them, don't depend on me. I'm not your God. I am not your God. Don't depend on me. I tried to teach him. I tried. Even now, what I'm doing, I'm not just saying, hey, come depend on me and join my community and get my products and just me. No, I'm teaching you how to regulate on your own. Some of you can't even regulate without watching one of my videos or a video like mine because I'm not the only person doing this type of work. But that's the only way you can regulate, baby. I'm going to say 90 days, it does not take 90 days to learn this at all. Okay. We're 90 days down the road. If you're watching me for 90 days straight and you do not know how to regulate yourself without pulling up a video, seeing my face and hearing my voice, there is a problem. You have a problem. Now, what's the issue? Let's talk about it. Come and talk to me. Okay. Anyway, let me bring this on home because let me bring it on home. Your nervous system isn't just asking for more content, honey. It's asking for safety, reciprocity, and presence. It's asking for spaces where you are known back, not just watched, not just understood from a distance, but known. It's asking for relationships where emotional regulation isn't outsourced, where your calm doesn't depend on someone else showing up on a screen, where your stability isn't borrowed. It's asking for your own voice to become a safe place. Let me stop right here. Let me tell you how I really knew that I tapped into another level of healing. When I started editing my own videos and I started falling asleep to the sound of my own voice. I used to hate my voice. Do I have my earring on backwards? I used to hate my voice because I thought in my mind, y'all, I was like, oh, I sound like a man. My voice is so deep. This is what I used to say about my voice. People always think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when I say that, but I used to hate the sound of my voice. Now I fall asleep to the sound of my voice. It can be in the middle of the day, and I'll be trying to edit videos for you all and will be dozing off because I'm calming myself down. Okay. You can build an inner world so steady that you're not trying to escape it every day. I know you've seen people make mention on social media about they are building a life that they don't have to escape from. You can have an inner world like that too. God never designed voices, even anointed ones, to replace presence. Online voices can supplement healing, but they can't substitute for it. The work isn't cutting yourself off from the world. It isn't isolating. It isn't pretending that connection doesn't matter. My eyes are burning from these onions, Lord have mercy. And I have a new ring light. Maybe that the onions and the ring, Lord have mercy. Hold on. The work is learning how to build safety on the inside of you and around you. Okay, that's the work. No voice, no platform, and no person should become your only place of peace. When that safety is internal, connection becomes a choice, not a lifeline. Some of you can't function without hearing certain people every day. That's scary. Before we wrap up, I want to share something with you, if that's okay. Nod your heads, pretend like I'm on live. I'll be back on live, y'all, in 2026. We almost there. The Clarity Reset was created for women who are ready to stop borrowing regulation from voices outside of them, including mine. It's for women who want to build safety and self-trust inside their own bodies and inner worlds, not by cutting themselves off from inspiration, but by not needing it to feel okay. The clarity reset supports nervous system regulation. It helps untangle emotional overattachments and it helps you make decisions from clarity instead of emptiness. You don't have to disappear from the online world. You don't have to stop learning from people that you admire, but you do deserve to belong to yourself first. You are allowed to be poured into, you are allowed to be safe, and you are allowed to come home to yourself. Me falling asleep to the sound of my own voice is me coming home to myself. If the clarity reset feels aligned, the link is down below. And if today was enough, let it be enough.